Welcome, everyone, to the Onward VR Master League. I am your host, Menorchid, and I'm joined today by my co-caster, Theta.
Good evening.
Good evening, he says. Together, we're excited to be bringing you this Raptors versus OJC custom map tourney match. Week 3? Week 4?
Week 4.
Week 4, yeah, week 4. As always, the VR Master League is brought to you by HyperAgs, VR Cover, ProTube, Rebuff Reality, Fixed Gaming, Cyber Shoes, Behaptics, as well as you guys. So let's just jump right into it. What do we got for the first ban?
The Raptors are banning Sea Storm.
Sea Storm. Are you surprised about that one at all?
No, they were traumatized on it by an MP5 last time they played it, so I don't blame them at this point.
That is the map of MP5s, right? I mean, you'd think all those long-range shots, all that verticality, all that distance you're going to have to cover, and they get traumatized by an MP5. Man.
Yeah, I think the driving wind throws those airsoft BBs at an extra fast speed, so extra damage, no doubt about it.
All right, what do we got from OJC band-wise?
Terminal.
This one's kind of an unknown for me. I haven't got to see them play too often, but I'm a little surprised, honestly, considering that, as far as I know, they're more of like a close-range CQB style team. So what do you think about that, band?
I think they are taking a map off the table where it's much more of a coin flip than they're probably comfortable with, which I think is a good strategy. They're both teams that like CQB. I would argue Raptors are drifting off from that a little bit more, as far as I know. I don't know a ton about OJC, but either way, if you have two teams that like to get aggressive, it's hard to have an advantage either way on Terminal because it's just that kind of map.
You're just in the action right away. Yeah. I can totally agree with. And what's map number 1?
We will be starting on Frostbite.
And this is a pick from Raptors. I could definitely see them playing this map. It has a bit more of that range that they're looking for. It plays a bit more like a standard map as well, not quite as much verticality as like Sea Storm has. A little bit easier to just learn and get into the action.
Yep, exactly.
Yep, well, okay, so we're going to jump right into intermission here. When both teams are ready to go, we'll be jumping right in the action, so do stay tuned. See you guys shortly. All right, welcome everyone. We're just getting started here, round one. Raptors versus OJC. Got the center objective here. This one's a pretty spicy one. Both teams get into contact quite quickly. You can see the spread already happening from the Raptors team. One sniper up high in the building trying to get some early picks on any players moving towards the objective. Shinzu, Red Whistle, and CK Japan all defending, trying to keep on the false side of the hill there. Try to not get spotted by such sniper like Marksman. The rest of the team trying to get these overwatch positions, for example, Distorted up here behind this tree, while the two flankers and Soldier Z and Def Redux trying to go around the outside here. Shinzo in a great place to stop that push if he looks to the right side at this time. But if he doesn't, the flank from behind could be very devastating for the defense here. Black is about to come into contact with Soldiers coming around the corner there. A trade happens as Black was just a little bit off. Soldier is able to get on target there, but not before getting taken out himself. And now Def Redux is going to have to figure out what happened on that far flank.
What's interesting about this objective is that neither side, I mean, obviously Marsoc wouldn't by default, but neither side starts on the objective. So there's a bit of a race to get in position. Volk does not have that much of an advantage. The objective's right in the middle of the map, and they have to run and get into a spot where they won't get picked off. They had Marksman on Raptors looking around with a sniper rifle, so you get too aggressive on your positioning, you can get taken out right away by the offense.
Yeah, so it looks like in that vein that OJC did get the middle ground under control, but they did it in a safe manner, not allowing Marksman to get those picks. And it's going to work really well for OJC as they are in a very strong position to defend the this objective, as they have a very strong line all the way down the map. The south is a little bit open. Def Redux gets a nice shot onto Nashi, who is resable. CK looking like he's going to rotate down for that res, and no one's really going to be able to stop him, unfortunately, as he is on the backside of this hill.
Well, Dankbank is not too far away. He is, what is that, just northeast of that position, and so is Marksman. But nobody can see each other yet, although Dankbank now rushing out into the open. If anybody peeks from the backside of that hill, if Nashi sees him, this is going to get ugly very fast for Dankbank. But he's looking the other way.
Oh, yeah, wow. It looks like, but he turns around, gets a nice shot onto Dankbank, who didn't check around the corner there in time. Unfortunate for him. But I think that what happened there was OJC was really concerned about the objective, but Nashi peeks a little bit too much, and Marksman gets that nice repick off. Redux and Shinzu get a trade. The south of the map is kind of like a graveyard of players right now.
Yeah.
There's 4 bodies over there. Now it's just kind of up to the snipers. We got Marksman and Distorted, who have been playing more of a supportive role, just sitting on these back hills and not really moving in themselves.
And CK and Marksman sort of dancing around each other in the north. Marksman's now making a move out in the open. CK, if he looks, and it looks like he will see him, takes him out behind the tree. Now it's all up to, who is this last one? Distorted. He's taking a straight beeline, though. This is interesting because no one is expecting this push. Although that smoke will give away his position.
Distorted is just going to run right onto objective.
Oh boy, yeah, this is going to be a cap.
Oh, CK, no. CK's looking like he's trying to come here. Distorted, trying to get the cap through the wall. Not quite sure if that's possible, but Red Whistle makes sure that he has all the time in the world. Unfortunate team kill. Red Whistle will now have to run back onto objective and stop this. But the cap happens. Raptors get their first 2 points.
Dang, if it wasn't for that team kill, I think that cap would have been stopped, because he was trying to cap through the wall, couldn't, and he had to reposition. Right as the defender was running in, he got team killed. And that would have been the most vulnerable point for Distorted. Wow, that is brutal.
Yeah, at the very least, if he was able to contest that cap, even if he died on that approach, it would have given Red Whistle the time to move in and try and stop it himself as well.
Yep.
Fortunate. It's always those tense moments at the end where it's just so easy. Your finger is just like twitchy. You're ready to shoot anything that moves. You know there's only a few friendlies left, and you might not know necessarily how many enemies are left, and you just want to shoot everything. Everything's on the line, and that's where it really shows when the nerves can get to you. And although sometimes it's just like muscle memory. You're like, oh, that kind of looks like the enemy. Blap!
On this map in particular, I could see it being a problem because there's this sort of fog overlay on everything. And I know the few times I've played it, there have been some team kills for that exact reason. If you're far enough away from somebody, it can be hard to tell what color their uniform is. Plus all the factors you mentioned just creates a recipe for team killing.
Yeah, it's those times or circumstances where things are just a little bit different than normal, where it can really come into play.
Yeah.
By the way, if no one, if Evolution isn't in the chat or anything, if someone could let him know, I'm sure he'd like to see his map played. Alrighty, just about ready to jump into round 2. Same objective right here in the center and see how Raptors chooses to defend this one. Definitely have to make some hard choices on just how aggressive you want to get on your defense and at the same time how conservative. And you could see when they did a farther back defense from OJC at the very end of that round that Distorted was able to run right up to objective completely uncontested, and if there was no smoke, he possibly could have even got in the building before being seen. It just all depends. First shots ring out. No kills just yet. Black, I think, trying to get some shots on to Distorted. Not quite able to connect there.
Wow,
Marksman
what a shot
comes
by Marksman. I don't know if you were watching him, but that was clear across the map.
I was trying to get behind him, but too slow. Let's see.
And the Frostbite Fire Department, hard at work.
CK and Black get two kills and quickly get picked up. Soldier's trying to get the repick on the Black, but he's got this great position at the back of this kind of like corner, and now he's got a smoke to get out of the range. Wow, this sounds really weird. I can't even hear these bullets going off in the distance. Is that happening for you?
Yeah, I'm having the same problem. A lot of stuff.
I didn't
on
even
my
know there was a
Copy,
fight going on there.
I will say, very different attitude about defense from Raptors. I would suspect they're trying to protect their lead a little bit. They put 3 in the objective and then spread 2 on the outside. And surprisingly, it's now down to 2 defenders. So their conservatism backfiring a little bit on this round. And Soldier's out in the open. He does not know that there's people in the north, as far as I can tell. But there's a whole squad of OJC people closing in on the objective from the north.
Pretty interesting, yeah, attack pattern here. Everyone's looking in as much as possible. Distorted coming out, trying to get some information on where their team is. Luckily for him, there is a trade, but that did reduce the defenders down to 1. And now, if you look at the map here, they're just all around. They're everywhere. They're on every direction around the objective here. A Knight's Triangle formation on the approach. They're not even trying to move in necessarily. They're just trying to get Soldiers to make a mistake, because he's trying to make sure no one gets it. And here you can see it right here. Nashi getting that shot on, taking out Soldiers and giving OJC a point on the board.
That was some seriously patient offense right there, because they had to have a good kill count. They only lost 1 person that whole round, so they knew there was 1 left. And like you said, they were just waiting for him to make a mistake to come out in the open or something. They all kept their distance so they wouldn't be easy targets for the defender. And he did 1 understandable check and paid for it. So really nice round by OJC.
Yeah, what I particularly liked is that we saw some really good aggression. They pushed their advantages and they got all these picks by doing so, but then they slowed down when they needed to. When they know they had the advantage, they know that the enemy player was going to have to make those risky moves in order to stop a cap. And you know, they could have tried for a cap, but you know, they took the guaranteed point instead.
And when you're behind by 2 points, I would argue, especially if it's not match point or anything, just take the guaranteed point. Don't risk going up 3-0. That's just a really dicey situation to be put in.
Absolutely, and you know, to get that Marsoc win and then go into a defense round, it's definitely a recipe for being able to come back.
Yep.
Yeah. Good moves on them. Let's jump into round 3 here. And we got the west objective here. This one's kind of hard to attack. They have pretty good defense line. They have a high ground. They have this building they can fortify and all these hills that they can just stay on the false side of and just peek their head up a little bit and try and get these picks or information.
Now, I don't know if this is just map specific or a more team-wide philosophy, but OJC has very wide defensive patterns so far.
One guy is just like going out. He's just like leaving. He's going somewhere else in that south part right there. Just watching Marksman here as Nashi is just right across the way from him, and he is exposing himself just a tad. Marksman should be able to see him anytime now, or maybe even Nashi getting the vision on a Marksman. First shots ring out here. Marksman has the upper hand, I'd say, with the scope, but Nashi, with his automatic fire, was able to suppress Marksman and force him to move down. The rest of the team is playing a little bit more conservative here. Nice teamwork from Soldiers here. He's getting some suppressive fire on the hill. Allow Marksman to get on the hill, get situated, and get ready to try and get that kill shot onto Nashi.
And Black takes out Distorted in his pushed up position. Yeah,
he's a lot of hill fighting.
Yeah, he's a bit of a menace in the south. He's close to center. He's not exactly at center, but he's close. And so anybody that tries to Black.
Okay, gotcha. Still watching Nashi and the sniper battle going on. Nashi not really willing to commit on that push there to try and take him out. He knows that he's facing two enemy players, and probably best to keep your head down, play a bit more of a defensive strategy here. Black, though, he's moving up, though. He's getting just a little bit closer, inching closer to the enemy, trying to get some more picks from the side. Maybe catch somebody looking over the hill, thinking they're safe. And it kind of looks like he's planning these positions out. He's seen a lot of these kind of tucked in positions on the corner of the maps, using these rocks to keep cover and, well, concealment from the enemy at the same time, and able to get these really strong shots on him.
Well, he's about to be shoulder to shoulder with Def Redux. Def looks like he's looking through. Oh, and CK gets Soldiers. But Def is looking through a 4 times. He has no way of seeing Black right now. So if Black stays patient and watches that center line.
Marksman's going to have to be really careful in this approach. Meanwhile, Dankbank is moving through the center of the map, and he's just pushing up onto kind of getting close to objective.
Yeah, if you look at me right now, Def and Black right next to each other.
Nashi gets Marksman as he pushed up on that corner there. I'm going to jump onto Def just before he got the kill there. Actually, I jumped off into Dankbank thinking it was Def. It was a wonderful round, all in all.
Mm-hmm.
Now Dankbank is pushing up on the objective. He should run into contact with CK, but not before Shinsu gets some shots on. Dank trying to get his frag up and ready, but he hears CK approaching him. He has to drop it immediately and get his gun up ready to fight, but Shinsu on point there in that really, really strong position in the window there. Only his head basically is visible, was able to take him out.
Yeah, it's all up to Def now. One person with a 4 times against a 4-person squad tied on objective. This is going to be a challenge.
You can see Def just trying to get these shots here. This is his chance to shine. Last member of Raptors against 4 enemy players in a strong defensive position and less than 2 minutes on the clock. We'll have to see what he can do. He's rocking the scope as well.
With the distance on this map, he's in for a hard time. Let's just put it that way. And there it is. It's a lot of distance to cover with 1.5 minutes to go when you're by yourself and no way to cover with other people.
That's a tough one. It's a tough one, and being last man up is always a difficult proposition. Not to mention on this style of map where once you lose map control, you lose those players who have nice covering lines in order to get those refrags or suppression. You don't have any of that. You just have to run through the open and hope they're not looking. And let's be honest, like even if he ran up to the objective came from the same approach as Dankbank did. He'd have a tough line on that one. He'd have to face 2 players immediately, have 1 reinforcement ready, and they'd be able to pull their players from the outskirts of the map back into objective before he was able to attempt that cap.
Just in terms of offensive strategies, I think OJC is taking the slightly better approach on this one, only because they're grouping up. And as we've seen, we've had some kind of weird sound anomalies. And if you're having that problem, people are spreading out, you're going to have a very hard time figuring out where to refrag, whether you even need to refrag, that sort of thing. There's nothing worse than pulling out the tablet and seeing 1 less dot and not knowing what happened. And if you're not grouped up, you don't have visual cues to go off of where your teammates are, what they're doing. That's going to happen a lot on this map. So I think OJC has a little bit of an advantage there because they are playing this very tight, let's all run together kind of offense, and the Raptors are not.
Definitely some strong teamwork happening from them. I really do love seeing OJC play. Really strong team. Raptors as well. So I'm just excited to be here, honestly, to be able to see them play.
Same. Yeah, there's not a ton of footage of OJC out there, so I'm glad we could capture this game.
Our resident Japanese team.
Mm-hmm.
Round 4, about to kick it off here. Northeast spawn for the attackers. Not quite sure what the spawns are for this objective, but no matter what way you play it, you're gonna have to deal with those tall hills, and that's kind of the defining feature of this map. A lot of those sniping battles going across the entire map, and really dangerous crosses. It really reminds me of Downfall of all maps.
Yeah, I can see that. That works.
Just snowy instead of sandy.
Yep.
There's 2 of us in my spot. I thought I was covering it.
Yeah, we're saying a similar dynamic as the last offensive round from OJC. 3 in the north and then 2 spread out throughout the rest of the map. But I think this 3 in the north is going to be the key group to focus on, the key players to focus on.
It's tough, and kind of interestingly, you see this kind of wide defense as well from the Raptors, and I think that's kind of required because you're going to have to stop all these really long corridor style approaches, and you can kind of see that this north approach, where the majority of OGC is coming from, isn't being watched directly. Everyone's kind of facing in. Soldiers in more of a backup position, marksman's facing the center of the map, but no one's watching the far north here, and if they continue their press before someone catches them out, it's going to be really deadly for the Raptors to try and counter that.
Marksman is cresting a hill in the north. He has such an angle on them. If he peeks, especially if he sticks next to this tree, he's going to be hard to spot. As long as he doesn't skyline himself, he'll have a nice shot, but unfortunately he does not realize now he has people at the base of his hill.
He's actually calling out to his team to let them come close. He doesn't know that they're close. They're close already. A well-placed grenade here would be pivotal.
The question is, I don't know if the OJC guys spotted Marksman on that hill. He was keeping very, very close to the edge.
They're so close to each other. CK getting the upper hand on that. Marksman getting that call out there just before he dies. His last dying breath.
Critical information he put out, though. He said 2 below me. So they know that there is at least some kind of concentration happening in the north.
Now, honestly, all these players have to do is keep their attention to the north. They just keep their attention, put some suppressive fire, get everyone to look that direction. And if you look at it right now, Soldiers, Dankbanks, and Distorted are all looking north. Def Redux is the only player watching the flank here. Dank getting a nice pickup on a CK. Grenade coming out right in front of Distorted. Perfectly kills him. Nashi getting Soldiers in the back as well. And this is exactly what I was talking about. He is now in position, ready to move on to objective. Honestly, if he just ran straight towards it, the only person he'd have to contend with here is Def Redux, who arguably isn't a great position to defend it from the back there. Nice shot from him, taking out Nashi. Red Whistle, getting that refrag, though, onto Def Redux, having to give up his life to defend the objective. And now it's just Dank Bank versus the world.
I have to say, I don't know what you were focused on, but that grenade that got tossed was just perfect. Landed right.
I saw it.
front. That was brutal. I know James would be proud of that one. That was just perfect angle on it.
And the thing is, oh, nice shot from Red Whistle there, right through the window, taking out Dank Bank and giving OJC the upper hand.
Wow, so even though Raptors started out with a cap, they're now down a point and potentially can lose this next round. Especially OJC's on defense now. That's going to be tough.
I'm going to pull us into the gameplay just a little bit early here. I might have been too slow on the draw, but I might have it. Let's see. Oh, no, perfect. Grenade goes out, follows right behind him. Perfect grenade throw. And it instantly kills him as well. I don't think he was wounded. I think it was just such a good throw, and it was close enough to instantly kill Distorted. And that kill allowed him to continue on, taking out soldiers, completely undefended in the flank, and, you know, gave him a good shot towards the objective.
Yeah,
so
that was just
really beautiful play.
Just a well-executed offensive play again. Close the distance. I think some of that, there was a little bit of luck there because if Marksman had peaked his hill a little bit, he would have seen 3 right in front of him, but timing just did not work out for him that in that moment. So they captured the north, and that turned out to be the crucial difference in that round.
And just look, I mean, if you have a deficiency in your defense, I mean, anything at all, it just happens that's where they're going to come up. That's where their main attack is going to come from. It always happens to everybody. You don't even know. You don't even know until later. And you're like, oh, man, our north was kind of weak there. We didn't have anybody watching that kind of northern pass approach. And look, that's where the main attack came from. And it all kind of went downhill there. Unfortunate for Raptors. I think they were trying to do a little bit more of a conservative defense, let them come in close, get those shots on. They have to crest those really hard to assault hills. Dank Bank, for example, had a great position in order to stop some aggression there and defend the point. But OJC, again, was just wonderful teamwork, wonderful, you know, team play, just coming around at all angles at all times, was able to get the upper hand on that round.
Indeed. And now we have a new objective all the way in the east. Kind of a similar dynamic. It's not quite as high up, but still a series of hills right in front of the objective. I'd like to see if OJC decides to play a little more conservatively, if they continue with this pattern of sending Black or another player out to, you know, disrupt what's going on through one direction. It looks like they're playing a little more conservatively. They're all in a straight line. Although Black and Shinzu, as I say that, both pushing up.
Currently watching Dank Bank and Def Redux here, trying to get this south control. They have a standoff with Shinzu, who is able to shoot Dank Bank as he was crested on that hill. Def Redux at the base of the hill, trying to just get this refrag and not get spotted himself. Hiding a little bit in the dark, might play out to his advantage here. But he just has to hopefully spot Shinzu before he spots him. Nashi and soldiers, I assume, or maybe marksmen, getting into a nice little fight here. Frag comes out onto Nashi. Oh, just a little too short, not quite able to get over the hill there. Shots ringing out. Nashi not quite aware of Soldier's position as he continues firing and trading with trading rounds with marksmen there on the far hill. He's going to have to be really careful, though, as Distorted has pushed up to the center of the map to get kind of a supporting line for the rest of his teammates.
Yeah, I've been watching in the south, and Def Redux is making his way through. But, yeah, oh, Marksman takes out Nashi.
Good shot there. Little fight going on there. Not quite able to connect. And so Marksman got the upper hand there. Good shot.
And it's all evened up. So 4v4. Looking at the map, still a pretty even split offensively. Although the north is now weak And
Yeah,
Marksman
they
is
just
making his
continue
way
to
up
push.
there. Or excuse me, Soldiers making his way up there.
Shinzu just kind of checking the far hills here. The rest of the Marsoc team playing a little bit slow, just letting that north push continue, get their attention. And you can see Red Whistle and CK both watching to the north here, very concerned about this opening on their defensive line. First shots ring out on this engagement. Red Whistle shooting through the window here with his silenced AK-12, which is going to be hard to quite know exactly where he's firing from, but it looks like Soldiers was able to kind of figure out where it is. He's checking both of those windows here. Red Whistle sitting really far back in the room, though, able to not show anything but where he wants to be looking. Shinzu, however, gets the kill onto Soldiers there. Good shot from him. A lot of fighting going on right all of a sudden. Black taking out Distorted and Def Redux in the south there, and now it's just up to the single attacker in the north in VR Marksman.
And there it is. OJC takes Frostbite 4-2.
What a comeback.
No kidding. Yeah, Raptors got the cap on the first round, and then that was it for their points on this map.
Yeah, well, what a beautiful set of rounds there. I love seeing those kind of far-flung comebacks where it looks like, oh man, a cap first round, oh, that must be demoralizing, but they didn't let that keep them down. They rebuffed their attack and they just pushed it to Raptors. It was really good.
Agreed.
Jumping into map 2 here. A little bit of a change of pace in USS Quest. USS Quest. What are your thoughts on this map?
It feels a little cargo-y, just in the sense that it's very linear. Everybody's facing at each other. There's a little bit of a flank opportunity because you can either go as far east, kind of run along this corridor, or far west, you can run below deck a bit. Yeah, it's just more of the fast pace, like let's get aggressive, get in their faces kind of map more than anything.
Definitely a map that's just very quick and deadly. A lot of those real pre-fire peak kind of lanes and a little bit of flankiness on the outside. Reminds me a lot of the cargo tunnels, for example. So yeah, I'd say it plays a lot like cargo. And I'm going to go ahead and choose that as the second map, as it looks like we don't have USS Quest on the deck here. First shot's already ringing out. Let's jump right in here, get into the action. Round 1 is starting. We got a south objective for our starter. Shots already rang out on that pre-fire. The defense is playing pretty tight in here. The defense, or the offense here, though, not letting them really push out too much as the pre-fire rings out, and really cuts the map in half, allowing the rest of the team to move up. Grenade gets thrown. Not quite anybody to catch there. Good attempt, though. It's really interesting seeing these really kind of quick maps get played in a comp setting. Ooh, OJC and Black and Soldiers getting into conflict here. Black taking a more defensive line, letting Soldiers move up, potentially getting him as he comes around the corner here. Marksman taking out CK in the center.
Yeah, Soldiers and Black right around the corner from each other. Black is slowing down. I don't know if Soldiers knows he's there or not, but he's rotating.
I don't think so. Distorted, nice shot on the Red Whistle here. Marksman pushing up, getting a little aggressive here, taking out Nachi on his own turf here. Now it's just Shinzu and Black here who are going to have to make up for the lack of players left on their team. Distorted, downing Shinzu. Probably not. Oh, and gets the confirm. Now it's just Black versus Soldiers here. He's kind of in his own little world here. Comes around the corner. Soldiers and Black getting a trade.
Black was in a tough spot because he was waiting for Soldiers or somebody else to go around into that flank. The problem is that now in this newest version with the sound update, if you check your tablet, they can hear it. I think he knew that.
I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah, I personally don't understand it either. I feel like it's information that you're just giving away. It's pretty critical. Same with a knife. You can now hear if somebody pulls their knife, their knife, which it makes knifing people even harder than it already was. I don't understand that change either. But all that being said, regardless of the reasoning behind it, if you're going to sit there and try and flank somebody and you know somebody is right behind you, you cannot check your tablet. It will give you away. I've seen people die from that now. And there were just all these gunshots going off. He had no way of knowing if he was by himself, because the moment he pulls that tablet, he's dead. So just a really tough position to be in for Black on that flank.
I think that, yeah, like kind of like you were saying, that the unintended side effect is that it really isolates players. They can't, play with their team. They can't use their team as much. They only have their audio cues, and that gives you away too. But you can't really call for help necessarily and know where your team is. You just have to kind of memorize where they are, or just kind of play in your own little world.
Yep.
Jumping into round 2. See if OJC can defend this objective here. I think this is one of the more defendable objectives on this map. There's some of those ones where they're just a little bit more pushed up towards the center of the boat, and that's really tough. Interesting smoke comes from Shinzu. Smoking kind of the side of the boat here. Maybe he's trying to push up, get some moves on the enemy players. CK, even these little boosts on the side here, able to take out a player. Def Redux and taking out Black. Blood for blood. Marksman pushing out here, trying to get a shot onto CK, who throws some bullets his ways for his trouble. Instead, he's going to move through the center of the map here. A nice aggression coming from the Raptors as they continue this push up the center of the map, using the smokes to try and get their attention, try and stop the... smoke goes off into the water there. Bank coming down below, trying to get a shot into CK. Shinzu downs Marksman as he was coming around the corner there. What a shot, shooting through just the sliver of space just before the smoke takes a large major effect in blocking his vision.
Wow. And Soldier's now in the exact same position that Black was in. He's just sitting there waiting, and there's someone right behind him. They've been checking each other left and right. Nobody has been spotted in this east flank area. Nashi now rotates out. Soldier should be free to get a move on now.
Meanwhile, in the center of the map there, Dankbank able to get the refrag onto Shinzu and get the revive. What a hero. Red Whistle, though, ends up shooting him. Soldier trying to get a shot on the Nashi, who just able to get into cover there. Marksman and Red Whistle get a trade. Pretty interesting setup we got here. Dev moving down the center of the map, trying to get in a position to support Soldiers, who's taking a more supportive defensive line there. But Nashi coming around the side there, able to get the shot on the Soldiers. It's going to be critical here, as now it's CK and Nashi versus Def Redux, who's going to have to watch both of his flanks there. But looks like he's going to even it up as he gets the drop onto Nashi. Good move from him. Now he's moving into a secondary position, try and get a shot on the CK if he decides to do any sort of flank there. But unfortunately for him, CK already made his move and got around the backside of him. But it looks like he's going to move back towards objective, make sure no one can get that cap on. Flash does come out, not going to be quite close enough or low enough to take it, or to flash Def Redux, who's continuing his slow approach there, just missing CK. As CK gets really aggressive on these peaks, he's checking every single angle here, trying to make sure that he doesn't get the dropped on. But no, CK gets it.
Wow, what a snapshot! That could have gone either way. Lasers were aligned almost perfectly there, and I think he just pulled the trigger first. What a round! So much going on the boat.
So much movement too from a last man defense. Really getting out there in a place that I don't think Dankbank was expecting him to go. As you could kind of see, he went into that center cargo room and he was just trying to look around, look out, get somebody rotating on or near objective, and CK threw a loop by going around the outsides of this objective area and trying to shoot anybody who's just trying to look in, and that's what we kind of saw here.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed a lot of that action myself, but I was watching that east flank, and even there was just so much going on, so much tension. People checking on that east flank over and over again, nobody seeing each other, and then finally it all just popped off. So we're getting the action I think everybody was hoping for out of this map so far.
Yeah. A lot of fights going on. Something I've noticed is that there usually is a lot of movement and attack on the far west flank of this map. Kind of going through that channel on the side of the boat. But not so much in these comp matches. A lot more that center play. Usually one player going around the east side through that tunnel area, which I personally find to be really quite deadly for an attacker, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're off. Looks like we're going to get that play. Both Red Whistle and Shinzu trying to choose the same location for this attack. They're just trying to catch any defenders getting a little bit too cavalier on their defense here. Meanwhile, CK deciding to move slowly down this east approach, keep his head low so they don't see him crest over these blocks here. Soldiers, however, in a great position to catch anybody, but letting them get close first, giving that false sense of security. Black also moving up in and behind CK. Meanwhile, Nashi Jam moving through the center here, playing a bit more of a make sure they don't flank us kind of role. Meanwhile, Shinzu and Distorted get into conflict. Shinzu comes out on top, getting it down onto Distorted, but being around this kind of corner here in this little ramp, Marksman could get a revive if he was careful about it.
Shinzu and Red Whistle just hanging out in those little pods, waiting
Flash
so patiently.
goes on. CK now on the offense, using this flash to the best of his ability. Dank trying to give him some support, but not quite able to stop that push. Soldiers is taken out, and CK has secured the tunnel here. Now all they have to do is take out Dank Bank, and the side of this objective is open. Just a tense moment before the storm. Dankbank getting close to CK and Black, able to take out CK as he chose where to throw his frag. Black trying to get the refrag, not quite able to connect with Dankbank here. They're just so close but so far away at the same time. Comes around the corner, gets some suppressive fire on the Black using that PKM and its massive set of rounds here. Marksman trying to fight off Red Whistle and Shinzu as they slowly approach. Little kill team coming down from the channel. Grenade goes out, but it's just a little too short, and it would have taken out Red Whistle if it was just a little bit further. Now he's going to have to come into contact with Red Whistle there. Great teamwork from Shinzu, though, able to stop that approach as he was about to come out on top of Red Whistle. Now it's just up to Def, who gets taken out by Nashi in a trade.
Ooh, and Black gets the finish after the round. Man after my own heart.
Wow, what an explosive round.
No kidding. I was
There's
just
so
zooming
much
around.
action. Yeah, everywhere.
Could not keep track of everything that was happening. One thing I really liked, though, was the way that they were controlling the lines on this western, I don't know what to call it, like lower level on the side of the ship. They had
Right.
two players posted up just watching for a flank. It ended up paying off because Distorted did peek that. He got down, and then they pushed up from that side and took out Marksman as well. I didn't get to see a lot of what was happening in the east, but that play ended up being critical as far as I could tell.
Did you see the point where Marksman got taken out?
Yes, I was watching that.
That was beautiful. When you come up and over that channel, it's really hard as the person sitting down low to react in time to somebody who's standing, running, and ready for where you are. Especially when they're like right on top of you, and that's exactly what was happening for Red Whistle. But by having Shinzu kind of just a little bit further back, waiting for such a move, waiting for that aggression, as he was just totally focused on killing Red Whistle, allowed Shinzu to get that free kill without, you know, any or very low amount of chance of being taken out himself.
Yeah, in fact, if I remember correctly, they both got the kill on it, so Marksman died twice on that one.
Sucks for him.
Mm-hmm.
Defenders are moving up here. Pretty similar defense to the Raptor defense here. One player pushing in really hard. Black getting in the center of this container here. Distorted, Dankbank, and Soldiers, though, opting to go for a hard flanking strategy. And we even have a shield from Distorted. Grenade comes out. Black getting into a defensive position. Unfortunately, the grenade is going into the bathtub, and that's going to be some property damage right there.
As long as they miss the rubber ducky. And Black and Dankbank trade in the east. I feel like Black is sort of their designated flanker. Shinzu
He
takes
is
out
a
Dev.
quite aggressive player.
Yeah, he on defense he is always that guy that pushes out. It's another grenade that just gets victimized by the map there because it blows up in the top story of the tower.
This is interesting. Red Whistle's got kind of this further middle of map position. Nashi on the point, but they have a lot to contend with in Distorted and Soldiers, who is pushing up that side, and Nashi all by himself is going to have a hard time stopping this shield push down a narrow channel, and this is exactly where the shield is very powerful. When you don't have to worry about those flanks getting a shot on your unprotected side, and you can use the teamwork of your riflemen, Soldiers in this case, in order to get those kills for you. Distorted here. He's got his rifle. He's just checking for Nashi. He's looking. He's giving information for Soldiers. Just keying in the attack here. Smoke comes out, cutting Nashi's options out as he continues to try to do these little flank moves to kill Distorted, but Distorted is not letting that happen. He's got his shield on his side. Guns out. He takes out Soldiers. Nice little fight going on here. Distorted just can't quite get him. Nashi at the same time not able to get him. Both players having to weave in and out of cover as Distorted decides to pull back. Meanwhile, in the center, Red Whistle able to take out Marksman.
Wow. Yeah, Distorted was kind of out of options there. He lost the support, and there were still enough people up on defense that they were going to create a serious dilemma for him. And he goes down in the east. So OJC up 3-1 on this second map. Potentially on the threshold of winning the match. Although Raptors now have the Volk advantage.
You're going to have to see some great plays for them over and over again. This is where metal is tested. You gotta fight your own emotions at the same time. Can't let the tension get to you. It's super easy in these tiebreaker scenarios. I think we've all been there, and we all know what that's like. So we'll see what they can do here. But that attack, I think it had a great start. They had those three players pushing down it, trying to get a really strong push, going down the side, overwhelm the defenders, using that shield to mitigate the kind of risk that you take when you go down those narrow lines where one defender could just rake his gun across all of you and take two of you or maybe even three of you out in one burst. But it just didn't quite work out. I'm not quite sure how the first person died. Maybe a grenade or something, but
It was a trade.
okay. But it was really interesting combat over there nonetheless.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's not a bad strategy. It's just the execution that time wasn't quite enough. It ended up backfiring on them a little bit. But I think sending a shield down that flank is a good idea in general.
Unfortunately for Distorted, he's just no lobster.
Mm-mm. And it's not lobster, ladies and gentlemen. It's lobster.
All right, let's see what happens here. It kind of looks like we might see an aggressive defense. Nope. They just want to make me look dumb. Okay, that's fine. Black Whistle and Nashi just kind of taking defensive positions in the center of the map. It really looks like they know how far they can get before they get opposed by the enemy team, which is really critical for those attacks. It allows you to get those lines, try and catch the defense out in the open. Nice frag from Def, or onto Def from Nashi, downing him, and you can see right here he's down in the center of the map. Marksman's going to have to rush across in order to get that. CK meanwhile able to shoot Dankbank. Soldiers really quite stuck here. Gonna be really Ooh, flash comes out. I don't think it hit him though. He's able to get in and out of that danger zone. Distorted in a nice little peak position. He's going to be able to take any players that rush around that corner too, Cavalier-like, and Soldiers is going to be his support there. Meanwhile, in the West, Marksman is going to have to contend with Shinzu and Red Whistle very shortly. These two players often working together here on the West side, and we've seen a really good place from them as well.
Ooh, that was close. Marksman's laser went right over Shinzu's head too.
Marksman doesn't even know.
No.
And here we see Shinzu heard him pull his tablet out, knew he could pop up and take him out, and he just goes right back to watching forward, letting Red Whistle get that nice confirm there. Def is available for a res, but at this point in the game, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, Red Whistle's just there for the confirms. Love that.
Free kill,
yeah.
free kill, free kill.
Oh, and they get the.
There it goes again.
He's just cleaning up.
Ooh.
I love it.
CK able to sneak up on Distorted as he got distracted by that push. Soldiers getting the refrag here, pushing out there, trying to clear this line so he can get back onto the middle of the map here. Looks over, doesn't quite see Black as he was too low for his current position. Runs back, and he's just checking everywhere, trying to defend the objective. Able to take out Nashi. What a shot from him, and now just gonna have to worry with Black. Nice shot, he takes out Black. Wow.
Yeah, Soldiers took it down to a 1v2 from a 1v4.
Don't worry, guys. Soldiers will carry you.
Yep. No pressure whatsoever.
No pressure.
Oh,
Grenade comes
wow.
out. Oh my.
What a grenade.
Oh my grenade, man. Oh.
Wow.
Let's watch that again.
That was 2 grenades from Shinzu that time. He got the credit for that one. Red Whistle couldn't clean that up because that was an instant kill. But he got the grenade on Def earlier as well.
Man, just watching it again, I can't handle it. That was perfect.
Yeah, just incredible grenade tosses.
What a beast. What a beast. Sorry for interrupting you there. I'm just like watching it there, I was like, holy crap.
It's understandable. Yeah, I think James might have some competition from Japan now. Because that was some spicy grenade tosses. I'm pretty sure Shinzu was the one who threw that grenade on Frostbite as well, right onto the objective. I think it got distorted, if I remember correctly. Yeah, just fantastic grenade tosses, all I have to say.
Someone should clip that and send it to James if he's not already watching.
Someone should clip all of those grenade tosses and send them to James.
Yeah. Jeez. That was beautiful. And Soldiers was just on a roll too. He was just taking everyone out left and right, coming out from completely from behind and bringing it to a 1-1 is very commendable. And I think if that grenade didn't get him, he was in a great position in order to contest that.
No kidding.
Contest that last player. Boy.
It was looking too like Soldiers might open the door to a clutch on it, which he just shut that right down. That's the power of frags, is you can take people out without exposing yourself at all. He was at a safe angle. He said, you know what, I'm just going to try this out and toss a grenade. Because if they decided to confront Soldiers, especially if they didn't coordinate very well, that could have potentially gone against them. So good decision making on their part, and again, excellent toss.
He even had it cooked to the perfect amount as well that Soldiers couldn't really do anything. You could already see that he was trying to hide in that corner as best as possible, and he was up there. His butt was against the wall, but it wasn't enough. The grenade had his name on it. Looks like we're getting one player swapping out here, but if you haven't noticed already, we are jumping to Shipyard for last map between these two teams. This is a new Shipyard, however. I'm just gonna jump us in right here just so we can look at the differences here. I don't know all of the differences, but the main one is that we don't have these gaps under these walls anymore. And without those gaps, a lot of these positions, especially the ones that I've noticed Raptors likes to take, are going to be a little bit neutered. This position here that I'm showing, for example, especially, is so strong when you can shoot under the walls.
Yep. I actually haven't played it since that update. I didn't realize they closed those gaps. So that's huge. That takes away a lot of defensive power, especially what we were seeing last time we casted Raptors on this map, because they were proning underneath those walls quite a bit.
Really shows that the legwork they put into finding these nice positions in order to get a nice edge on the defense. Looks like most of the players are going to choosing to go north, take the boat, try and get the upper hand over the objective here. Nep, who has switched in here, is going to get the first look onto an enemy player. Soldier's just so close. Looks like he's going to peek this corner maybe. Nope. Soldier's going to continue going down the center here. Meanwhile, Shinzu and Dankbank so close to each other in the center of the map here. Nice position from Shinzu. He's just holding in tight. Dankbank trades with Shinzu. Both players are available for res, but Distorted was going to... Distorted trying to come down to help him, but gets shot himself and falls down to the floor. Unfortunate for him.
Yep, and now just a couple of corpses laying around. Def looks like he's going to get the confirm. Or, excuse me, the revive, the res.
Oh, come on. Steal his kill at least.
I know,
Have some
right?
decency. I don't even think they think he's alive.
Oh, Dankbank, make sure.
He dead. CK in a tough position here. He's going to have to guard the objective up close. Ooh, Nashi, nice shot from the blue roam. Soldier's able to take out Black on the boat, and now it's just up to CK to defend this objective from the boat, which Marsak has shown to have a very strong hand in, and now Nashi trying to, kind of looks like he's trying to reposition here, but if he does, Def has a beautiful shot on him, and there we go. Takes out Nashi, forcing these rotations from the defenders and letting them move forward so you can just get those easy shots is a very legit strategy. Soldier's able to take out CK, and Raptors getting round one. Oof.
So I know we've talked about this before during the regular season, but I personally love to see when a team, even though they've lost the match, doesn't just give up on the third map. You can just tell, too. I mean, a team gets deflated after losing the first two maps, and they just say, you know, let's get this over with. And Raptors clearly not doing that. They are still in the fight.
Yeah, they're definitely giving it their all, and this is a good map for them to do it, as this is one of their more, I'd say, one of their stronger maps for the customs. They have it kind of dialed in, and even with those changes, they're able to really show that they know what they're doing on this map. A good team to watch if you don't have any strategies on this map.
Yep. Yeah, this is a map I think it's pretty clear that they've taken the time to study this and come up with strategies specifically for Shipyard.
Yeah, there's some definitely really strong positions and angles, and it's more than that too. And you see these on the official maps where players know how far they can get based on where the defenders spawn. So they know, for example, hey, I could push up halfway up the ship without anybody able to stop me and get a nice up forward defense position where, you know, if I get the upper hand, I could push to the further end of the ship and then really be a terror to the enemy team. You know, little things like that can make a huge difference in a game, VRML game, some game, Onward game.
Yeah, just map knowledge in general is so critical in Onward and pretty much every first-person shooter. And a lot of people are not taking the time in custom maps to really come up with strategies, so anybody who does has a huge edge. Distorted right in the middle of two OJC players up front.
Able to get one player there. Nashi, though, not chumming around to stop him. Distorted really getting quite peaky, trying to get some free kills from any players pushing up. Nashi, though, behind him, trying to find where he is, comes around, able to get Distorted in the back there. That's what's tough when you got those positions where they can flank on you. Def Redux, though, up on the roof, trying to get a shot down on Nanashi. It just shows you how powerful the upper ground can be for a defender. And he comes around the side, trades with CK on the boat. Strong, though. Strong play from him.
It's all down to Nep now.
Yep.
I will say Nep had a flashlight on his weapon last time, so I don't know if he's one of the newer players or if he just likes being stylish, but he is rolling with just a 4x and a foregrip this time, so that's a little more encouraging.
To be fair, you can blind these players on CQB with the flashlight. So there, I have seen some tactical play using that before, but I honestly find it pretty tough to use effectively on anything but like Subway or something. Everything else feels just a little too quick for it to really happen, or too large.
Yeah.
Nep threading the needle here between these defensive players. Dankake just catching him right before he gets into cover. Raptors taking another point. That's tough when you're the last man up and you have at least 2 to 3 enemies left. You just have to watch everywhere and anywhere all at the same time, and they're always where you don't look at that particular moment.
Yep, and especially on this one, there's just so many angles to cover. Some of these objectives are pretty out in the open as well. So attacking as one person is pretty tough in my experience.
For sure, and we're about to be to another really spicy objective. I find this one to be really tough to defend. It's so far up there. The attackers can get in and on the objective very quickly. And if they get control of the roof, honestly, you're done for. It's so hard to... They could just come from 360 degrees anywhere on the roof and shoot at you. If they don't get you, they can just pull back and you can't do anything about it.
Yep.
You could even pull around cover behind these ventilation boxes and, you know, weather the storm of any grenades you throw up there.
Let's see. I mean, it's hard to tell. I do wonder... So the problem there is that it's very hard to figure out which maps you're going to play in the custom tournament because there's such a large pool. You don't
keep
really
changing
know.
every week.
Yeah, and it changes every week. So there's a real risk-reward equation you have to do in your head. Are we going to spend the time and energy coming up with a strategy for a map that we may not even be playing the week after this? And we may not even be playing the week that we want to play it. So, I don't know. It's like I'm not that surprised when I see teams without strategies because it makes sense that a lot of them are not going to do that.
It's tough. It's tough. Meanwhile, Nep getting control of the center roof here. Def Redux throwing smokes. Tons of smokes coming out. We have smokes everywhere in the door. Dankbank is taken out by Black, who is pushing up on the boat. He's going to be in a critical position to stop this attack in his tracks. Oof. There's like 5 smokes all thrown in the same spot. They're like every single color too. Black and able to get distorted.
I think the Raptors figured out that's just a critical angle that they don't want to be exposed to, because if you're trying to get to the boat and they have the control of that angle, you're in trouble.
This is tough. Soldiers takes out Black on the top there. For whatever reason, I thought he was dead already, but now he is, so there's that.
Mm-hmm. And Marksman should be able to get the res. He just stays in cover, and there's not really anybody to pick him off. And now it's just Marksman and Def.
Nep able to take out Soldiers here as he continued this flank on the boat here, trying to push his advantage, but Nep was able to stop that. Now it's just up to Marksman and Def. The revive taking a little bit longer, trying to get that needle in them.
All right, let's double peek this. You ready? Got it?
They're double peeking. It's a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Just
But never cross the line into a triple or quadruple peak.
Ooh,
That's the key.
definitely don't want to do that. Oh, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, though, OJC down 1 member, choosing to take a little bit more of a conservative defense, letting the enemy team push up just a tad bit more. So Shinzu, however, in a great position to get some kind of surprise fire on anyone running down the center of the map, just trying to close the distance towards objective. Nep on the roof, just defending mostly the boat area, as well as making sure the enemy players don't control the boat. And CK in the back here, just letting them come inside so we can get a shot on them. Let's run down here and see what CK can see. Kind of interesting. If they snuck into the objective, got through the front part without Shinzu seeing, it'd be tough for the enemy players to defend that. Marksman able to take out a player, but at the cost of Def's life. Shinzu hasn't been dealt with either.
No, and that was the problem. They were a bit disconnected, out of necessity, to be fair. There's only 2 of you left, but Marksman not going to be able to ID where that kill came from. And if he tries to cross the same line as Def, he's going to get shot.
I mean, there's almost no way to not do that. Or actually, I don't think it's possible. That spot sees any kind of cross being made by the attackers.
Yeah, that's a powerful position to hold.
That said, because you know it's so powerful and you kind of know where the enemy player is, a well-placed grenade could make the difference here. The only thing is, though, he could have been on the boat as well, as far as Marksman's concerned. Nep is taken out, getting a little bit too peaky there, letting Marksman even this out a little bit. Now it's a 1v2. Shinzu not pulling back, though. He's going to go on the offense here. Marksman should be able to run right into him here if he looks around. Shinzu doesn't quite see him, but does catch him just before he comes down. Shoots him in the back. Nice headshot from him, giving OJC a point. I bet he didn't expect that flank.
No. No. Once again, OJC playing defense as offense, more or less. They sent Black up to the ship. He did die eventually, but he went up there, did some damage, and then Shinzu holding that position right below the ramp. Before he died, or before he killed Def and then rotated, he was hanging out underneath that ramp. So that's just a tough position to deal with. I mean, even with the grenade you were talking about, if it lands on top of the ramp and he's under it, you're not going to get him. So that is just if you want to study this map and you want to find a good defensive position for that objective, I highly recommend that spot. Looks like it's quite dicey if you can get there.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, I think that middle lane there could use just a tad bit more cover. Just allow that cross at least from the south side without being seen from that position. But yeah, it's kind of a kill box.
Yeah, totally.
There's a lot of distance to cross if you look at it.
It's just a big wide open area that can be controlled by one person.
Very, very strong. Now Raptors will have to defend the same objective. This one is just, it's really strong for the defenders, but if they lose control, Marsoc has a really great chance to take it back. Kind of interesting that it's just one way or the other. Started going prone under this blue car here, trying to get some shots into the center building here. Smokes get thrown. Ooh, catches CK just before and shoots him under the red car. That's 2 cars he's shooting under. Meanwhile, Shinzu and Dankbank get into confrontation. Dankbank loses in this case.
And Soldiers now in the flanker position. He is behind most of the offenders. He just can't look out quite yet. Now he's on the edge. So
Black is aware. That's his spot too.
Yep. He's speaking Japanese, so I can't tell if he's ID'd him or not, but I would assume so.
He's calling in the mechs.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna come strike him with their swords.
Naturally.
That's positioned so strong. Shinzu might run right into it.
Yeah, that's kind of the spicy part about this objective is you can position defenders behind the offense, which is pretty unique. There aren't a lot of maps where you can get away with that, especially ones that are this short.
The soldiers literally can't be flanked. The only thing is like a grenade.
Yep.
That grenade was almost perfect.
Yeah, another
Unfortunately, just a
Shinzu.
little bit too far on the left there, not able to go through the door. But if it did, Def would be downed right now.
Now I just hope that OJC gets more casts in the future so I can see more Shinzu throws. 'Cause this guy is just a killer with grenades.
Shinzu nades. Shinzu nades. You're not safe anywhere.
I was just gonna let that one die on its own. But anyway. God, it's too bad Shinzu's already thrown his frag, because if he could just magically float one up onto the boat, that would be pretty sick. But not going to happen since he's already tossed it.
Whatever floats your boat. Oh,
Get out.
Oh, okay. Well, you complete this cast. I'll leave the camera right here.
All right, cool.
All right, you're looking at Distorted right now.
All right. Well, good thing Distorted just got a kill. So Distorted takes out Nashi.
All right. You better hope Distorted kills everyone then. Grenades, I think, are the key to Marsoc offense here. Either that or extreme aggression. Without that aggression, it allowed Distorted to get in position, and soldiers as well to get up and behind them. And now Shinzu is going to have to continue making this push. He has the back against this wall as much as he possibly can, but he just came around the same corner, which he himself got tons of kills. Luckily, no one was there defending from that position, but no matter, as soldiers in a great place to take him out. Distorted kills Nep as he pushed on this far flank here. Black, though, perfect shot under the car, it looks like. Able to even the odds just a tad here, and now the Raptors are down to 3, but OJC is down to 1.
Black is a support player, so he has enough ammo to take on a small army if he needs to. The bigger question to me is, how does he deal with soldiers? And he played that position last time, but I'm going to see if I can get close, see if he has any utility. Okay, I don't see any. Yeah, I don't think he has a frag or anything, so I just don't know how you deal with that position without a grenade when you're coming from this angle. Maybe if you get up on the roof, you can get a shot off on him, but when you're below, that's just, I wouldn't say impossible, but it's pretty close to impossible to deal with somebody up there looking down on you.
I don't even think you can from the roof unless Soldiers decides to peek.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the roof now. You'd have to be in such a vulnerable position to even see him. You'd have to expose yourself to get that shot. So
this is tough for Black. He doesn't have much time. Def is in a nice supporting line. Might be able to see him through this doorway as he pushes up. He is very, very good cover. Basically, only his head looks to be visible. Black, though, very much concerned with soldiers. And really, the only way to kind of contest him is just run up that ramp with your gun up and hope that you come out on top on that face-to-face trade.
Or something. You know, put your hands up, come out quietly.
He's trying to negotiate.
Yeah, he must know he's there. Maybe he heard the gunshots or he heard a tablet or something. Yeah.
Raptors takes the point there. I think we all saw that one coming. As a tough position come back from as the last member on an attack. When they all know where you are, they have the supreme positions, and they don't even listen to your commands. What can you do?
I have to say, on that objective as a defense, it pays to be aggressive in a big way, because you can box in the offense. You can put their back on the wall right away, as we just saw. In fact, OJC did the same thing to them. So it's yeah, that's a tough objective to be offensive on. You really have to take risks if you want to survive it.
I think, but we saw both of the offenses trying to do a smoke and extreme aggression kind of play, but it never quite worked out. It's extremely tough to pull off, but I think that is pretty much the only counter, because once the defense gets into position, they get on the boat, they get on the roof, they you know, especially get under that blue car that we saw Distorted last round. They control the map. They control every exit. There's no flank opportunities, and every attack, if I can speak English, has to go straight through the open with no cover. And you're gonna have to deal with someone on your backside if they choose to play someone in that upper boat position. So I mean, there's just so much going against an attack there.
Yep, it's, you know, the defense doesn't have to take that many risks to lock it down, and offense has to take a lot of risk to survive. So that's just brutal. I don't know, have a good solution for that.
Definitely a tough proposition for anybody. Interesting defense. Shinzu getting behind this wall. He now doesn't have to worry about his feet considering the change there. He's able to look over this low wall, catch anybody running out into the open in the center of the map. Looks like the majority of the attackers are going to choose to go through the boat route. Def Redux has a nice overwatch position from the roof. They're able to take anybody out if they chose to attack the boat, but they're not. So he's going to choose instead to look out over the map on the roof there, try and catch anybody who is also on the far roof there. Soldiers and Shinzu get into contact there. Shinzu unfortunately getting taken out himself. Grenade comes out from Soldiers there onto the roof, really right behind the cover, which is a great grenade throw. Unfortunately, nobody on the roof for OJC, which is an interesting choice in itself. Black suppressing the doorway that he saw distorted from. Smoke grenade comes out, but it's not quite covering the door, and so now Black will be able to defend it. More smoke coming out, forcing Black to continue his fire, giving Def Redux that opportunity to see where he's firing from and killing him outright. Dankbank pushing up, but a C4, clutch C4 up on this the cargo containers, able to take him out. Def Redux able to kill CK, and OJC is going to have a tough time defending this objective as Distorted is running in. He's right behind the objective. He is now smoking through just at the doorway. Nep, however, is perfectly covered by his own smoke. Nice shot from him. Soldiers running into objective. The offense is in the building there. Soldiers trying to kill and does succeed on taking out Nep, getting taken out by Nashi, but it is a worthy trade for the attackers here, allowing Dankbank to just come through the side of the building and finish this round out, giving Raptors the win for this map.
Yep, that was a solid win for the Raptors. Again, I think their planning and experience on this map paid off quite nicely for them.
I would have to agree there. We saw some great play on both sides there. OJC definitely had, I think, a fighting chance there, but Raptors really pulled it back in order to give themselves a map win near the end. The other maps, though, I think that there was a lot of those really close rounds too, but OJC's, I'd argue, unconventional style, I think, threw Raptors through a loop there, and that's what, you know, the kind of little different meta changes that you can make, just slight ones, like a more pushed out defense, or different weird positions you're not normally used to, can really make a huge difference in the outcome of a game.
Agreed. And this is a team that a lot of people don't have experience playing against because they're in a different time zone, and so they're not playing in the same lobbies as most people. There's not a lot of cast footage of them. So they're hard to plan for, and it's clear that they're a good team. So you're going to play against these guys. You got to watch out because you're not going to have a lot to work with in terms of homework.
I think they've had 2 seasons, and the first season they were like bronze, but then they've really shown how much they've grown and that they're a team to watch out for. If this is any estimation here, I'll love to see hopefully some more games of them casted in this tourney. In the future here. We have a few more weeks left. It's week 4. I think there's supposed to be 6 weeks of this tourney.
Yep.
So definitely at least a couple more casts coming up for this tourney, so do show up for those. Anyways, this has been Raptors versus OJC, brought to you by myself, Menorchid, and my co-caster Theta. We would like to thank the VR Master League for providing this format. To the teams, our moderators, our sponsors, especially to you guys, new and old, thanks for tuning in and spending your time with us. I don't think we have any more casts coming up, but hopefully we can get some. Anyways, have a good night, everyone.